So I get questions regarding leopard geckos on a daily basis, and some of those questions get asked over and over again, and despite replying to everyone and even answering these in many videos, I still get asked the questions. So I've decided to do an FAQ Friday and answer these frequently asked questions in their own videos. Firstly, I'd like to say that I have been asked these questions, so I will answer using my knowledge that I've gained from nearly a decade of personal experience with leopard geckos and information I've gathered from reliable sources. I noticed in my video about those bubbles under your leopard gecko's armpits that a lot of people wanted to say that these are calcium sacs and that they're healthy or they're just not deadly. And I was sat here thinking to myself, well yeah, I did say that they're not a threat. And I did say that it's debated whether they're due to oversupplementing or overfeeding, and for the purpose of being fair, I decided to explain both reasons, because let's face it, if I just said it's to do with oversupplementing, I can guarantee someone will say, actually it's to do with overfeeding. So I literally can't win. The whole point of it was to reassure people that these bubbles are not deadly and they can be reversed. So now, after that little rant, let's get on to the main part of the video, which is what can leopard geckos eat? In the wild, leopard geckos can consume a variety of invertebrates, such as many species of spiders, beetles, locusts, caterpillars, scorpions, and occasionally smaller lizards or nestling rodents. Obviously, in the wild, there's no guarantee that you're going to get food very frequently, hence why leopard geckos are extremely good at storing their food, so they have quite a chunky tail. Unfortunately, this means that they can easily get overweight in captivity. It is thought that in the wild, a healthy, non-breeding adult leopard gecko would consume around 9 insects a week. It's actually very beneficial to your gecko to have a variety to eat, which is something I previously didn't endorse, since I'd always been told that feeding crickets as a staple diet is the best way to do things, which to be fair is totally fine. It doesn't harm your gecko, but they can just benefit a lot more from having a range of foods. See, I'm very open to change, nothing's completely absolute. So here's a list of invertebrates that they can eat and you can easily buy. Keep in mind that your geckos might not like all of these, and certain foods should only be given as treats. Number 1, crickets. They can be black or brown, although I have heard that black crickets are much more violent and more likely to bite your gecko. 2, locusts. 3, dubia roaches. Mealworms. You can also feed their pupa, which my geckos actually really like at the moment. And apparently they can eat their beetles, but I do think it's better to keep the beetles, just breed them, and then you get mealworms for free. They can also eat butterworms, morio worms, which I think are also known as superworms, calciworms, silkworms, and waxworms. Now, I'm 100% sure that there will be people who feed a lot more different insects to their leopard geckos and they'll want to add to the list. So you know what, go ahead, add them in the comment section below. But I'm just going through a list of invertebrates that I know are readily available to buy for your leopard gecko, and I know that geckos quite like. Also, one time Diego actually ate a wax moth, which is what a waxworm turns into. Now, I'm not sure totally how good wax moths are for a leopard gecko, so I wouldn't necessarily put them in the list, but technically leopard geckos can eat them. Also, a very important note, do not collect these insects from outside to feed to your geckos. You don't know what parasites or diseases they could be carrying, so even if you're low on food, do not venture outside. Also, do not feed your geckos human food and salad, things like that, because they are insectivores. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you very much for watching. Go ahead and subscribe so you'll never miss an FAQ Friday.